What's up, guys? All right, so I see baby. Oh, it's really Bobblish, but Baby Bliss. It's the blow dryer brand, but that was cute. I mean, we should write a card down that says that. It sounds like somebody's all having a good time being a new parent, and that's really amazing. Not a lot of people have this kind of energy. It says you take things, to the max with in a good way. It says extremely, probably you're just like it seems like you're a very great parent. You could be just really analyzing what kind of bottles and nipples. I mean, you're just one of those moms. It's what they would call a helicopter mom, but you know what? Honestly, at this time, it's important, and you just want to be the best parent that you can be. Some of you guys could even miss your grandbaby. I also just feel like I heard in my heart, like I felt it like strong when I said that somebody wanted to be the best parent that they could be. I feel like somebody feels as though they're a little worried about their grandbaby, honestly, when they are not with that baby. They wonder if the parent that they have in their taking care of them honestly is worried about being the best parent they can be. And so you could have actually just felt like, as you observed this person and their parenting, that you honestly have grown a bond very close to this grandbaby for some of you guys, and you don't feel like they're honestly doing the best that at least you could do. And I don't know, you're picking up a little bit of a mixed energy here. You've grown close to the baby, and I do think that you are more wise. And so I feel that what you're being asked to do is maybe continue to spend time with the grandchild and do your best to give it at least a 2 month period of well done training on your end. Whatever you see that you observe, if you haven't actually approached your person and expressed and also attempted to try to guide them in whatever way that you feel is comfortable for you. And if they're resisting or not resisting and they're excited to learn, is those are two different things. That's what you're looking for. And so I definitely feel like you have, like I said, a bond. You're growing close, but what happens to the human body after a loss is that whoever they attach to first after that loss, it's who they actually get it's like their next thing. And so you get very strong feelings and you become extra involved or passionate about that thing. It could be that you throw yourself into work for whoever you are. It looks like there could be a new baby that's not maybe yours. And honestly, it's pretty common. I'm a little worried about that happening myself. My son and his girlfriend are having a baby, and I remember my mom going through this big change when I got my first baby, and it changed her. She just got clean, and she's been clean for like 20 years almost. And so when Skylar was born for my mom, it was like she just realized from a different view that there is something different about being a grandparent versus being a parent. And that's because you've had more time to gain wisdom. I mean, you've seen more experiences. So it's not about just looking at it like, I'm the elder, continue to be on the chapter and the grind that you are on. This is your time to relax and enjoy, and really in this chapter, watch and observe and share your skills with anyone. And if you're not having success in whatever you're observing and you feel needs to be improved, then you need to withdraw, reevaluate your approach, your way of thinking. And honestly, I think that for some of you guys, you are just observing and you have not mentioned and sat down and had a face-to-face with whoever it is that you would like to see these improvements come from. And so in the moment that you feel as though that's an observation that you can confirm, you're basically sinning after that point, because if you don't go and help another person become their best self and you're just observing and you're judging. So you're not actually any better whatsoever, because they may have a really good explanation, or they may be completely excited and wanting to learn that for the longest time. And so there's no reason to be waiting in between observing. It's the only wait that needs to occur is making sure that if you're going to approach somebody, that you do it in a way that benefits them and gives them the ability to trust you and open up and feel comfortable for the brain to learn. If you come at anybody in a way that makes them feel shut down or offended, the part of the brain that is open to receive what you have to say shuts automatically. It's a shut door. So as much as they're staring at you, as much words are being thrown around,
the approach and really just learning how to maintain that communication and leaving that line open and not closing any doors on each other is huge. It's that's what you're going to be doing in this chapter. This is a younger person into like an elder person. So yeah, you're going to have to be a grandparent, and or you could just be picking up any. There's a lot of trainee energy. But basically most of you guys actually have been called in this chapter to in some way definitely grow up. And if you're an elder, the elder group will be anybody that's 60 to 90. So we're just going to break this up into 3 groups. That's how they do it in business class. And so you got the 0 to 30s, and we got our 30 to 60s, and we got our 30 to death, okay? Or 60 to death. Now, some of you guys, I believe it's like, I want to say 64, but it could be 74 when you could retire. So don't, whatever those 2 numbers. So those are some things that need to come out and be paid attention to. Retirement is something that you need to know the numbers of for my elders in this group, because your energy is actually very heavily in this new energy, because you are starting to need something now to do. And that's the baby, where the baby's coming in, because your person that's raising this baby isn't needing you to raise the kids. They need you to challenge yourself so that you can actually declare that you are a wise leader and you have the skills to teach other people. You are not smarter when you cannot be a leader. If you think that somebody's doing something wrong, then you go lay down, honey. Then how many days, honestly, do you wait? I want you to start jotting it down. It's totally fine how many days, because this is a project that you're starting now. And so you're not going to get any back credit for what you did in any time from this point before, because you did not know how to actually really organize those feelings. It's completely normal to judge people and to feel like, oh, I think that they need to do that better, and they probably do, baby. You know what I mean? They're new to what they're doing, and you've had many times. That's what wisdom is repetition, experience, tool bag, life skills. It's invisible. So if you're not carrying a really awesome bag that has all these cute little pockets, and you know how to reach in that bag and pull these wise leader skills and learn each and every person's personality type and be like, okay, well, that person's learning style is definitely not audio. If you're around anybody in this chapter who seems to get irritated at how close you get to them, if the body is closing forward and their arms start to cover their internal organs, and they start to basically cover anywhere in the front of the body, as they slouch down and bring their arms together and cross them, is attitude, obviously, but like the body will show you continuously how your learner feels about your approach. And so some of you guys could just feel like, well, I don't really know what I would say, and maybe I would offend them. Okay, well, then I guess maybe you should go research where that's coming from. If you don't have the courage to approach somebody promptly, then why is that? Is it because they're going to flip the fuck out? My people might say, well, you get so pissed off. I would agree with that. That's true. So I would need to then what? Go work on anger management. Possibly they could recommend that. That's what I'm saying about you recommending, and you just, really counting how much days went by when I saw this. And just, being honest with yourself is going to be a cool part. Don't look at it like it's freaky. So get one of these journals. Just get these notebooks. They're so cheap, 38 cents or something, I'm sure they have probably some stuff in Walmart. I don't know. I guess back to school started a minute ago. But they could have some, and they're even more cheaper because it's like back to school. Goodwill too, lots of stuff there. So just go get a fucking journals, like at least 10, because I want you to be able to, we're going to go through and journal tons of shit in this chapter. So we're going to talk about, oh my gosh, there's just so much cool stuff out there to learn, honestly. And that's what I do teach at school, is the human brain and body, from scabies to fucking, personality types to body language, as we were going over. And so I found to be one of the coolest information I ever learned was when I was learning about how to basically understand my audiences. And that's where we're talking about that 0 to 30-year-olds. That's what they do in business classes, is they break this up, because you need to understand how to individually approach these ages, and they're grouped. All right. So 30 to 60s, there's so many formulas that I'm going to show you guys, whether it's a hair color formula or it is a business formula or a brain formula that actually is going to literally change your life. Once you learn that literally almost every fucking thing we were ever taught, pretty much, in my opinion, millennial is the first age group. I'm a millennial, so I'm teaching you this. So if you haven't heard this prior to me, you were probably doing it in the way that they would use common sense. Why don't you have any fucking common sense? Or they would say things like IQ. Do you know that IQ is a joke? Do you know that your brain is nothing more than a sorter? It's like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. And that's the same thing that they judge your IQ off of. It only sorts. It says yes or no, yes or no. Brain doesn't even make the decision on yes or no. Do you know where it pulls its confirmation or its connections from? All brain does is receives a motherfucking message from one of your 6 senses. That's it. So your senses get off an alert. You smell it. Ooh, stinks. Who farted? So where would that go? No, I don't like it. So you smell teriyaki chicken bowl. You're like, ooh, what's for dinner? It smells so good. So yes, that's it. There could be nothing brain could do. Some of you guys, once you learn yes, no is all brain does, and then it's actually triggered by your senses, you are going to have the ability now to be like, okay, well, that makes sense. No wonder I haven't been able. I was using Silverwood as an example the other day because I have my sweater right here that I love. Thanks, Jeff, for that. But literally, many people are like, they have karmic, toxic, you know, what they call toxic relationships. But honestly, those karmic relationships are honestly the most intense and most deeply felt ones. And so we're going to just go over so much stuff. But your senses basically alert the brain. You smell a cologne, and it smells like an ex that put hands on you. Instantly, you're going to go, no. And if the seriousness of the no takes your body back to the day of that event. So your brain relives that emotion, that whole emotional experience. There's nothing that your body has, it doesn't have any control. So if you, for me, one of the strong ones that I would always hear that honestly I had very bad PTSD over was beer cans or any type of the crack back of a sound of a can opening, because I had an 8-year relationship with a beer drinker and he was abusive. And I actually was strangled out multiple times and I would wake up on the floor and for a good year, maybe 2 straight solid, it was probably 2 years guaranteed. I couldn't drive anywhere without being afraid somebody would be in the back seat of my car. For 9 solid months, I remember my boss had hung himself and I found him, and like for 9 solid months, I just had this fear of somebody gonna be in my back seat and actually pull a rope around and just strangle me out. So like, it's like anything that reminds you, if I see any types of ropes or in white t-shirts, I couldn't even have any decorations hanging. And so once you realize that it's only registering based off of your previous memories, brain doesn't have new memories, you make them. And so you get to be really aware in this chapter, be like, okay, well, honestly, every time I go to the school, or maybe you have a house that you go to and there was just any incident that goes on, or a karmic lover, as they call them. But I don't have no problems with nobody or any type of lovers or anything. I'm just going to help you guys understand where these people are at and why they may behave in ways that, you know, you get to take and look up further after I'm done with you. But karmic lover is actually a really good example to use, because knowing that the brain only has yes or no, that is where some of you guys, you really have these longings to want to be with that person who, honestly, pretty much you guys were the craziest relationship you ever had in your life. That's what karmic lovers are. What is the purpose of a karmic lover? It's to teach a lesson. I have to end this one, so we're going to just go over this. I'm going to start a new one. I pretty much did no videos yesterday, so we're going to get down like James Brown. If I could stay concentrated, who knows what the fuck next will happen with me, but just go ahead and subscribe if this is your vibe, and you can also add me on Everly, OnlyFans, EVERLE, and also Villain Bloods Facebook. That's cool. I didn't know Tech9 was the Villain Bloods. I guess that makes sense. I hear it now in my ear. But fuck yeah. Anyways, I love you bitches. Thanks for being here. And I'll be going live on YouTube in a couple days.